Offshore racing is often known for the giants. 40-foot catamarans, twin engines screaming across the ocean, and speeds that push well past 100 miles per hour. But long before the spotlight, long before the massive horsepower, the heart of offshore racing begins somewhere else. It begins in the smaller classes. Boats that are lighter, boats that react instantly, boats that demand everything from the people inside them. In these boats, there is no room for mistakes. Welcome to Class 6 offshore racing, one of the most competitive and demanding classes in the sport. Boats typically around 24 feet long, running powerful single-engine setups, pushing speeds that can reach 70 miles per hour or more across open water. At that speed, in a boat this size, every wave matters. Every throttle adjustment matters, and the teamwork between the driver and the throttle man becomes everything. In Class 6, the driver reads the ocean. The throttle man controls the balance of the boat, and together, they fight the water one wave at a time. It's physical, it's technical, and it's one of the purest forms of offshore racing you'll ever see. Because these teams aren't just racing for trophies, they're racing for passion, for the love of the sport, and for the stories behind the names painted on the hull. Today we're stepping into the cockpit of one of those boats, a 24-foot Magnum, a legendary offshore hull known for toughness and speed. Behind the wheel, driver Ron May. On the throttles, Steve LaPinta. And their boat carries a name that means something deeper. Logans Heroes. This is the story of a Class 6 team, a small boat with a big heart, and the passion that keeps offshore racing alive. From the cockpit to the throttle, from the starting line to the checkered flag, this is As the Prop Turns. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to As the Prop Turns, where we give you the stories about the people, the passion, and the sport. Today, I'm happy to say I finally got them nailed down. It was hard. Busy guys. I got Logans Heroes joining us. I've got Ron May. I've got Steve LaPinta, his wife, Christina, and we got Logan. Everybody in the house.
Hello.
How you doing, Logan?
I'm good.
Steve, how you feeling?
Well, with my hands, but other than that, pretty good.
All right. How do you put up with that, ma'am? I don't know how you do it some days. Ron, how's the leg healing up?
I just finished up my second surgery Tuesday to get it straight. They chopped it up pretty good. I'm fighting it.
I bet. We'll get to that in a minute and let everybody know that doesn't know what happened, but
Yeah.
let's get into it from the beginning. Ron, Steve, let's start right from the passion you guys show for this sport. Steve's sending me pictures of boats he's building. I know you've built boats. You guys run an awesome old school Magnum boat and you kill it with it. Take us back to the beginning, Steve. What got you into this sport?
Well, back when I was back in like 1971, 72, they started having all the glopper races out here in Eastlake. And I just started going with my dad and some of the friends, my dad's friends, and, Menor, Geneva, Cleveland. That was probably a little bit before Ron was born. And then, then I just started loving it, and I've pretty much had a boat of my own since I was 8 years old, and it just, one thing leads to another, and I like going fast, and I like running on rough water, and, it's just fun. I love it.
Rod, what about you?
I was born in 66, Steve.
Okay.
Pretty much same as Steve, just a little bit after. He was one of the ones I was watching as a kid. We grew up in a huge racing community. Some of the godfathers offshore, the Frank Shoshones, Bob Timmy, Jay Smith, Arrow, all our neighbors had race boats in their driveways. So when you were in your dinghy, you were pretending like you were in Galapra racing offshore race boats, and it was inevitable me and Steve would end up doing it. We were always surrounded by it.
Let's talk about the boat you guys chose to do it in, a 24-foot Magnum. I mean, that's a legendary boat.
Yeah,
What made you guys say, hey, we're going to use this boat?
it was actually, I had bought a 28-foot cigarette off a buddy of mine, and his brother owned the Magnum. It was supposed to, he kept telling everybody he's owned it since 1978. And then Ron was looking for a boat, and I told Ron about it, and Ron went over and bought it, did a little bit of work to it, sold it to another guy, and then that guy was going to finish it off, and he never did nothing. So it was a buddy of mine. I went and bought it off of him and finished it off, and it's what it is now. It's had a lot of work into it.
And let's talk about what it is now, because that's what draws me to you guys. The first time I met your family, Logans Heroes, and tell us about that. Where did Logans Heroes come from? Because I know, but everybody at home, they got to know this story.
Well, so the original Logan's Heroes actually came about. Hold on.
No, Mom, is sadly my sister made it up for a down some kids, and the boat is actually Steve made a boat because in Sarah Hyde say has a ribbon for the special needs kids.
Actually, Logan's Heroes originated. I'm a retired paramedic, and a lot of my EMS police friends, they were doing the polar bear plunge for Special Olympics, and invited me to join them with it. And I'm like, well, I need a team name. And so we did kind of play off the Hogan's Heroes with Logan. And so the original, I mean, sometimes at some of the race sites, you'll see my original pink shirts. That's the original design that I came up with. That's your sister.
See me.
But yeah, we did we were doing the polar bear plunge under a team called Logan's Heroes. Then my daughter and I and my friend Tracy, we all did it together for several years. And so that's where it originated from. And then when Steve decided to start his own team racing, we had talked about like what we were going to do, what kind of name we wanted to do. And I'm like, well, it would be great if we could do something, to show awareness for Down syndrome, congenital heart defect, which Logan has both. And so that's where, the boat racing Logan's Heroes came from.
Well, and I think it's great. And I was in Hopicon in 2024, Logan, with you, and you got to race with, I believe, Chris Colson from Shocker, if I'm correct. And you guys raced in a skiff, a Jersey skiff, they call them. And I want to say you guys won.
It was Jared.
Can Logan share us?
He raced in with Jared.
Oh, it was Jared?
Yeah, in Jared's boat. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that you got a lot of buddies in the racing world.
Yeah, we do.
Logan, what was that like that day for you?
It's like I like to go fast, and also I got my first place trophy.
That's awesome.
He was screaming so
Ron, I
loud
tell you
out on
what,
the boat that you could hear him from land.
Right.
Yeah.
And Ron, how special is it to be a part of this team with Logan and his family?
Very special.
You guys are loved by everyone.
Yeah, I went to school. I graduated with Christine. Steve's like one of my brothers, and Logan's just amazing. He's a fireball.
Yep.
Well,
World champion.
that's
Yeah.
right. Well,
You're a champion,
that's
buddy.
why we're talking to you guys today, because speaking of champions, you guys are the OPA national champions this year in your class. And Steve, you won the Jimmy Welsh Award. And I think, Christine, you won the 50-50 that night.
I did.
And you got some great new
Yes,
jackets.
Me too. It's me. Mom won the tickets on me.
He's my good luck charm.
Yes.
I got some things I'll be rubbing on you as soon as I see you, Logan.
Okay.
So, Steve, let's talk about the boat. You guys did so well this season, and you guys made the decision to go to Key West. And I believe it was your first time there, if I'm correct. And you finished third, and that's incredible for you guys. 10 boats in the class, 3 days of racing. Key West unpredictable. You don't know what you're going to get. No 2 laps the same. How did a small team with a small budget go all the way to Key West, and Logan's Heroes ends up on that podium with the Coconut Man, third place?
That's what I was really looking forward to, was getting on that podium with the coconut guy. I wanted Ron there with me.
Yeah.
Pat Marlowe from Dirty Martini with me. He was driving. He's picked up driving after Ron got hurt. He did a great job,
Amazing.
and it was great.
Well, you know what? I kind of apologize. I guess I got ahead of myself because I jumped to Key West. I'm excited. But so Michigan City, you guys raced. And for everybody at home that doesn't know, Ron broke his leg in Michigan City. It was incredibly rough the whole day. I raced in the previous race. Ron, take us back to Michigan City and walk us through what happened.
Well, we were all pumped up, ready to make some magic. We got out there, the usual Michigan City water. It's a washing machine, but we always put that behind us. Once we're in the cockpit, we're machines. We look straight ahead and try to nail it. And it was just everybody was bunched up into that first turn or the second turn, and I sort of got pinched in against a wake. I was trying to keep it off our hip, and it picked the back end of the boat up, stuffed us, and then when we came out, we jumped out of the water and landed on that wake, and it skipped sideways. And in the video of it happening, you can barely even notice how fast my upper body went over to Steve. I pretty much head butted his helmet and his shoulder and popped back into the seat. But when that happened, my legs stayed straight and my body went to the port side of the boat, and it just shattered my leg underneath my knee. So it's been going on 8 months. I just got done with my second surgery to straighten the leg, and I'm fighting a different kind of fight. It's very very challenging.
Wow. Well, I'm glad
Yeah.
you're okay, because I remember that day. I remember the aftermath of it. I remember Christine running past us, and because we were right by the docks there where you guys come out of the water,
Absolutely.
Um,
Christine was amazing.
well, you got a whole amazing team. I mean, the support network you guys have, the love, the fans love Logan. You never see him without a smile. And I think
Yeah.
that's what makes me smile sometimes, so that's pretty darn cool. So what are you guys thinking for this season? Is the boat coming out? When are you coming out?
Yeah, we'll be coming out. We'll probably do a couple. I'd like to get the 4 IHRA races in, and I'd like to get 2 race world races in to be eligible for whatever championship we decide to go to. Let's just see how things go, how they shake up. We're looking forward to getting back out there with the Class 6 guys. They're all that's Class 6. As far as I'm concerned, is one of the best classes out there. Everybody that races in Class 6, Johnny Saris, Jason and Mike, Pat with the Dirty Martini, and, just Ray Martino, and, everybody that just races, everybody looks out for each other. We all like, to race safe and just go out there and have fun, and may the best man win that day.
Right. Well, and I think it shows the pits, all the classes, like Class 4 guys where I'm at right now. And it's such a good group of people. But honestly, and I was saying this with the JBS guys the other day, who now have that new 46.6 skater. He tried helping me at a race because he thought he had the part I needed. I think it was Michigan City. You know, it's all such a camaraderie in the family.
Mhm.
And I think that's what one of the best things about this sport that I'm trying to showcase for people, that there's some really good folks. I know, Steve, your background, you come from some piling business, doing some
Yeah, I'm
some
a retired millwright pile driver, and I run tugboats for dredging, and I don't know. Were you here for the East Lake race?
no, I was not.
Okay, yeah. I do a lot of sheet piling, break walls, marinas, armor stone. I'm retired now. I've been retired for 11 years, and just trying to have fun.
You say the word retired, but you sent me a picture of some boats you're working on. I don't think you're retired. I think you've
Yeah,
just
right.
changed your passion.
Well, actually, I was looking for something. Ronnie was looking for a martini, and he called me up one day and he goes, "I found a boat for you. I found a boat for you," and sent me pictures of it and stuff. And I think the next day we jumped in the car and took off to Niagara Falls and drug the thing home.
God, you guys and Ron, you've done the same thing with some other boats you were working on.
Yeah,
Is this what you and is this your guys' passion? You got some boats in the forecast that you're working on?
absolutely. Absolutely. We've been, I always remember back when we were little, or when I was little, Steve always, we were building Steve was building these hydroplanes from, scratch that were works of art when we were little. And then when we got a little older, I entered the industry and learned a bunch of tricks, and I was building boats and Steve was building bigger boats, racing bigger boats. I was always a step behind him, but it was a nice following to follow Steve and all the greats from our area. We're passionate about how our boats look and run. We talk every morning, sharing ideas, and we keep pushing each other along.
Did
We
you
probably
record
have 40, he's pushing 50 years in the racing, and I'm a little over 40 years, and it's in your heart, it's in your blood. It's a sickness. It's hard to get it out of your heart. I've been trying to retire for 3 years now. I sold my team 3 years ago, and Steve won't let Steve won't let it leave my heart.
So, boat setup, class 6. Tell me how important that is on actual race day.
It's actually the most important thing. Setup is everything. When I first put the boat together, we were having some issues. It rode good, but we had to have a lot of tab down. And, um, you know, that first winter, I started, playing around. I talked to a few people. They told me a couple things that I might want to try. So I put a ballast tank up front. I moved the motor 7 inches forward, as far forward as I could get it. Had an extension shaft made, and um, it helped out a lot. And then the following winter, I put a -2 shorty on it, and made all the difference in the world. The boat hits the turns and rails now.
Wow. So, race day, Ron, you're the driver. Who chooses the propeller?
Steve, we talk about it, but he has the final say so.
Okay.
That's all we talk about all week long.
So, they say the smaller classes are where you find the most passion. You guys agree with that?
To a point, I think everybody that races has to have a passion for it in order to go out there and compete. You just have to have the passion. But the smaller boats, we appreciate it more. We have to put a lot of hard work in to get to the races, to get the boat ready. So I think we're more involved in it than some of the bigger teams, because they pay people to do it. Whereas
Right.
in our case, we have to do it all ourselves.
Not only
A lot of volunteers.
not only that, I think a lot of the teams, every year you hear about these teams where they get this throttleman or driver. He's first time in the boat, first time racing. Me and Steve started in the 70s and 80s. It's not just a passion, it's part of you, part of us. Um, and I think it's more of a fuller, we're consumed where a lot of and there's a lot of others like us that have been racing a long time, but compared to the fella that's just first or second year into a boat, jumping in a boat, even a skater cat or something, that amazes me how a fella that never raced a boat jumps into a skater and does good. But yeah, it's been our whole life. We didn't just say, "Hey, let's race boats." We were born into it.
Right.
We didn't have that choice. It was all around us.
Actually, the first boat that I raced in was a 27-foot Magnum. That was back in the later 80s. And it turns out that Ron ended up buying that boat, and then he converted it into a single, the Maine Marine boat, and I ended up racing again in it in the early 2020s.
Yeah. And before that, the boat's always been in Galapra. It's from the 70s. It had a rough beginning, but once the 80s came around, a Galapra team bought it. It was a few different teams and different names, and then Steve's team bought it and raced it, and then I ended up with it. So it was always raced pretty much in Galapra on the Great Lakes.
Wow. So if there's a guy sitting out there at home, I know you guys have been in a long time, but they're thinking about getting into offshore. Is Class 6 a good starting point?
Absolutely.
It's
I
not a
know some
real,
guys that are coming out Class 7 this year.
you don't, with Class 6, you don't really have to have, you just have to have the setup and a fairly decent motor. Some of the guys have, big horsepower and stuff, but if you get your boat set up right, you can run with them. You know, might be able to get you with a little bit of acceleration at the start or coming out of the turns, but with the right setup, you can stay with them and be competitive with them. And that's
Right.
just what we did all season.
Well, and it shows again, Key West, to go to Key West and finish third out of a group of 10 and be first timers in Key West. Not that was your, first time racing, but again, Key West is grueling. You just said a good engine, 3 solid days of racing and possibly testing in between to make sure your setup is right. I mean, what does that look like as a team? You go down to Key West. I mean, that's number one, it's a huge drive for everybody in the north. But the amount of things you got to take with you, and then just having the team there to help you. So,
Right, well,
I mean,
we
it
bought a
speaks.
camper, and Chris towed the boat down with her truck, and I towed the camper down with my truck.
The camper really
How
was a
awesome.
lifesaver, though. Like, whenever we got tired, we could just pull over and take a nap in the camper. So that was amazing.
Well,
So and when and when he was as a I was uh, I was super hot. I knew the dogs were like almost almost dying in the
every time I came to find
in
you,
the
Logan, you were in the camper in the air conditioning. I know.
yes.
Yeah, he knew that he had a feeling that the generator had cut out, which it actually had, and he somehow knew it. We were watching the race, and he got all upset, saying that something was wrong with the dogs. And Charlie, who was like the little pit guy that drove around in Key West, he actually took Logan back to the camper, and he called me and told me the generator wasn't working and it was really hot in there. So he's a little hero himself, saving the dogs.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
like thank you, Chloe.
All right. So you guys, after Key West, had to be on just an absolute high driving home and ready for this season. What have you done to prepare the boat for this year, Steve?
Well, I'm probably not. The martini that I'm putting together, I'm probably gonna end up racing that this year.
Wow.
I've got 23 races on the motor in Logan's Heroes, and I'd rather refresh it than rebuild another one. So I have a new motor coming together for the Martini. I'm going to badge the Martini as Logan's Heroes 614, and I'm going to race that this year as Logan's Heroes, and then, go about, whatever I need to do with the other one to get it back ready to go again.
That's awesome. Good for you guys. Ron, you'll be in the boat, yes?
Still healing. We talk about it weekly. If not, we have darn good backups.
That was supposed
So-
to be on there. I don't know what happened to him, but he did a real good job filling in for Ron. He'll probably be running with me this year. One or two races I might, put somebody else in, try to get somebody else involved into the sport, and give them a little taste of the Kool-Aid.
The Kool-Aid.
Hell yeah. So, some quick questions here for you and Steve, Logan, Christine. I'm going to give you guys all a chance to answer it. First question. Don't even think about it. First thing comes to mind. Favorite race site?
Michigan City.
Wait, what?
Michigan City.
No, no.
I mean, I do
St.
love the
Clair.
Mississippi West.
St. Clair, Michigan City is a toss.
Yeah.
Logan?
Papa Chica.
Me, mine hometown.
Yeah. Logan, I bet you love going to every race site because every time I
I
see
do.
you,
he
you're
does.
I
happy.
do.
It doesn't matter. All right. Roughest water you've ever raced in?
Oh,
Atlantic City.
Atlantic City.
Well, I've heard that a lot lately.
Yeah.
It was
Best offshore racing memory.
what's that?
Best offshore racing memory.
Offshore racing.
Best offshore racing memory.
Key West.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ron?
I would have to say when, what was that, 6-7 years ago when me and Steve decided to get back into it full bore, we got a
Dunkirk.
call to go to, what was the name of that town?
Dunkirk, yeah, that was fun.
Dunkirk, New York. And we never high-fived so many times.
They beat the top seeded boat, and boy, that guy was not.
Yeah, we had fun, and it was a good feeling in our hearts because we knew it was the start of something that wouldn't go away,
Well, here we are many years
Yeah.
later. So
Yeah.
we might have already answered this earlier. If you could upgrade one thing in the boat tomorrow, what would it be? Probably the boat.
Little more power.
A little more power.
And I love a lot of love and care.
There
Love
you
and
go.
care.
We love all our boats.
Well, I know you guys do. Speaking of love, I always like to talk about him. What does Reverend Jim Black mean for the Logan's Heroes team?
He's great. I love his sermons at the meetings, and then I love the fact that he walks around the pits before everybody goes out. He'll stand over by the ramp, and he'll come over, and he'll get everybody together and do a prayer before, and then afterwards he comes over and prays for that everybody came back safe and sound, and he was right there when they were with Ron in Michigan City getting him out of the boat.
Absolutely.
That was an ordeal.
Ron, I was going to
So,
ask you about that. I bet Father Jim was close when that went down.
He was. He always finds you at the right time. It's pretty wild.
He,
It's like
Yeah.
he's got a tuner, man.
he-
Yeah, he does. He finds you. I mean, he's amazing. He's totally amazing, gentleman.
Being on the rescue boats, I had to deal with some difficult situations working with OPA with some different rescues and medical emergencies. There was one particular incident that was really, really hard, and he was the first one that came up to me to make sure that I was okay. After dealing with a very difficult situation, and I, appreciate him a million times over for that because it was very hard, and he was right
He's-
there with me.
He's an awesome guy. I can't thank him enough. He always knows the right things to say.
Absolutely.
And it happened to me in Key West, and I'm still struggling with that as, just my own demon, but because we had a major engine failure and never got the green flag. But that sermon he gave on Sunday, I turned around because I thought it felt like he was looking right at me, and I was like, right in the lane that I needed to be in, right? And then I even asked for a sign leaving town that Sunday, like, God, why am I here? Why am I doing this? And then, there's a rainbow. It just all these things happen. But yeah, I'm a firm believer that having him involved in the sport means more to
Absolutely.
these teams than anybody will ever understand until
Yeah.
you
Absolutely.
become one of those team members. And God
Abs-
forbid you ever need him in a dire situation. But the good news is, as Jason Sara said it to us, he's right there when you need him.
He is, absolutely.
And that's incredible. So hats off to RPM Ministries. We're going to get them on here. I promise. He's coming
Yeah.
one day. So
Great.
look, if somebody wanted to help Logan's Heroes and they love what you're doing and they want to have you in an event, or they just want to, throw you some money to help with travel expense, how do we get a hold of you guys?
Well, we do have our Logan's Heroes Facebook. It's Logan's Heroes Offshore Racing on Facebook. They can or send me a private message, or even Steve. We do
Nathan,
we do
you
give
do
we give
before-
out T-shirts to any person, not even just a child, any person that we see that has Down syndrome at any race. And if we don't have their size, I will mail it to them also. And we've given out a lot of T-shirts in the past 3-4 years. 3 years. And we have little keychains and stuff like that, just to kind of, and that's the whole point of what we do, is to bring awareness of Down syndrome. And had some really wonderful talks with some new moms that were not in a good place because they didn't know what to expect. And after meeting Logan and talking to me, they realized that everything's going to be okay. And that's beyond what our message is that it's going to be okay. There's going to be issues, there's going to be problems, but in the big picture, it's going to be okay. And we're there if they need a shoulder to cry on. But yeah, they can message me, message Steve, message Logan.
Me.
Or
I think it's great you're bringing this message,
Facebook,
Christine.
Logan's Heroes Offshore Racing.
I think it's great you guys are bringing the message. I love Logan's passion at the races. He's willing to help anybody, any team. During the ceremonies, Logan's got, 4 or 5 different jerseys on getting trophies. Because I think you've been a mascot on everybody's team, Logan.
pretty much.
Yes.
Well,
I think
we
he's
love
been up
having
on the
you there.
podium with
I'm
every
so
team
glad.
that races.
What was that, Steve?
I said, I think he's been on the podium with every team that races.
Well, one day when I can make a podium, I know I'm going to drag him up there if I see him, because he's an inspiration.
If I could, I'd like to give a big shout out to Michigan City, to Scott Miller and Chelsea Miller, for all that they do at the Michigan City races. Last year they did the meet and greet with Logan, all the special needs kids in the neighborhood and in the city. It was a great turnout. How many families showed up?
I don't even know. I don't know. But they did a special. It was to like honor Logan's graduation and him turning 18. And they had a fun day over at the zoo over there, and
Zoo.
they had food and cake and everything. So it was a good time.
Well, I was at the one the year prior to that, and I know Michigan City loves Logan's Heroes. They love Logan, and I think it's great. Again, what you're bringing to the sport, you're bringing awareness, you're bringing passion, you're bringing fun, and these are all things that are just a part of offshore racing that everybody doesn't get to see all the time. And Ron, I think it's great what you getting rehabilitated, having the passion, wanting to get back in the boat, building another boat, and the relationship you and Steve have built. Man, that's incredible to have this kind of a relationship this many years. That's awesome for you guys.
Yeah, it's amazing to race with Steve, and know him and talk racing together all these years. When you're in that boat, he doesn't even pay attention to me. I don't pay attention to him. we just know each other are there. It's a weird thing.
That's
I've
awesome.
raced a lot of different kinds of
I can give
racing.
him a look and he knows exactly what I'm thinking. And he
Yep.
looks, he gives
Absolutely.
me a look back and he gives me that little smirk. And we just go.
Yeah. Yeah, we have this sign language we do that we never practiced it. We just know what it is. You know, because half the time we
we
can't
have
hear each other,
communications,
you
but
know?
we use hand signals.
Yeah.
You guys got a lot of seat time together in those boats.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just together, I mean, we talk like, well, probably 2, 3 hours a week, you know,
Back and
That's
going
forth.
key
over
to have a good
things.
relationship between driver and throttle man because
Yeah.
it makes it hard to beat a group of guys like that. And
Yeah.
I've watched you race. I know how you race. I know you're both passionate. I just think it's great what you're bringing to the sport. And I know everybody would be excited to see you out this year. So do you think Cocoa Beach may be a starting point, Steve?
I was thinking more Lotto. It's kind of hard for us to get away for, the Florida races, 'cause, she's got to work and, it's just a lot of time off. It
I
doesn't
get
matter
it.
to me because I'm retired, but, she's got to get back to work. And then we got,
And
all Logan stuff that he does.
also,
Right.
I go to a program.
Okay. Logan, I'm sure you keep very busy.
Yep. And also,
Yeah.
also, mom needs me to drink some more water because it's for my house.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, it's been great talking with you guys. It's an awesome season you had. We got was that Chloe, the
kiss
stranger
there.
dog? Hank the Tank. How many dogs you guys have? I have 3 as well. Ron?
3.
We all have 3 dogs.
Yeah.
Well, I know it's been great talking to you guys. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the course. Steve, give us your website one more time.
Logan's Heroes,
Hank.
Logan's Heroes Offshore Racing, our Facebook page.
Okay. And that's if anybody wants to help these guys.
Yep.
Listen, everybody, this has been a good episode here with the As the Prop Turns. We've met an incredible team, Class 6 offshore racing. Remember, it's important. Hug the ones you love because they matter. Keep the props turning, and I'll see everybody at the races. Guys, thanks for coming.
That's you, Ronnie.
Logan,
Thank you.
you have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Hi, guys.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Offshore racing is known for speed, the roar of engines, the spray of salt water, and the sight of boats flying across open ocean. But sometimes, a boat carries more than horsepower. Sometimes, it carries a story. Behind the name Logans Heroes is a reminder of what truly drives this sport. Because racing isn't just about the trophies. It's about the people who inspire us. The people who remind us to live life wide open. Logan is one of those people. A young life whose spirit left a mark on the people who know him. And every time this boat hits the water, his name rides along with it. For driver Ron May and throttleman Steve LaPinta, pushing the throttles forward means more than starting a race. It means carrying a name, a memory, and a reason to keep going. Because offshore racing has always been about more than machines. It's about passion. It's about perseverance. And it's about honoring the people who make the journey matter. So the next time you see the 24-foot Magnum charging across the water, remember the name on the side, Logan's Heroes. Because some heroes don't stand on podiums. Sometimes they ride with us every mile, across every wave, all the way to the finish line. And somewhere out there, another story is waiting. Until next time, we'll see you on the water, because the stories never stop as the prop turns.